Hi, I'm Wendy Stapleton. Welcome to Wrokdown, of course, coming to you live from Musicland. Live. Well, in the 60s, if you hadn't heard of Bobby and Laurie, you must have been living under a rock. Hitchhiker and I Belong With You were two massive, or one of two massive hits in the 60s. And would you welcome our special guest, Mr. Bobby Bright.
Hi there. How you doing, Wen?
Thanks, Bobby, for coming in.
Pleasure.
Of course, tonight we're actually here to talk about a new, what do you call it? A mini...
It's an EP, or it's a mini album, or it's a CD, or it's
you could call it
a bunch of music on
it's a bunch of music
disc.
on a disc, but it's all new music that you've written.
Yep, yeah.
But just for history's sake, let's go back, because I know that you've had an amazing career.
It's been a few years. I started when I was 13, and I'm not that anymore.
I in particular want to ask you about something that actually did change your life when you were only a very young boy, aspiring to be a singer, and you were asked to sing in a talent quest. Is that correct? In Adelaide?
Yeah, but how that happened was kind of... I mean, I didn't really think I was going to be a singer. I just used to listen to the radio and sing into my hairbrush, you know. And a friend of mine played basketball for the local church team. Yeah. Came around and said, "Oh, look, we're having a social to end the year tonight. Do you want to come?" You know. So I said, "Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good." "Mum, can I go?" You know. Yeah, you go.
How old were you?
13.
13.
So I went, and that's when I tasted demon alcohol for the first time in my life.
Can you remember what it was?
I can.
What was it?
It was a lovely green colour. It was called Creme de Menthe. Oh, that looks good. Anyway, I don't know, I still don't know to this day whether I asked or just did, but I finished up getting on stage with the band that was playing that night and singing, and thought nothing more. Oh, that was good fun, you know. Went home, got a telegram the next day saying, "I'll be at the Palais Saturday afternoon, talent quest." And that was anonymous. I still don't know to this day.
You don't know who sent it?
Don't know who set me up for that. And it was around the time when television was just starting in Adelaide. And there was a show called Woody's Teen Time, and they were looking for talent for it, and that's what the talent quest was for. Johnny O'Keefe was the judge. I sang "Johnny Be Good," and he was.
He was good to you?
Yeah, he was very good to me. So the next week I was on television.
You won, of course. You won the talent quest, and the next week you were on television.
That's right.
That's how fast it can actually happen.
Yeah.
So from there on in, it was actually sort of the beginning of your singing career.
Oh, totally, yeah. I mean, I was still in school, but I got together with someone else you might know, Dougie Ashdown.
Yes. Doug Ashdown had a huge hit. Was it
Winter in
America?
Yeah. Well, back in those days, Doug was about the same age as me, maybe a little older. And he worked for the post office. And he used to play a ukulele and sing, "With me little stick of black bull rock," you know, all those George Formby songs.
Was he from England?
Yeah.
You all came out when you were kids, didn't you?
Yeah, I was 7 when I came out. And Doug had a Les Paul Gibson. We started a band called the Bowmen. Beautiful Men, B-E-A-U-M.
Oh, it was B-E-A-U. Oh, I see. Not the...
No, not them, no. Beautiful Men. And we started gigging around Adelaide, and we used to go and play up in a place called Elizabeth, which is a sort of outskirts of Adelaide.
So eventually you were enticed to Melbourne by Ivan Damon, who was an amazing, in those days, like an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Well, Ivan ran a lot of dances in Adelaide and decided he was going to spread his wings, so to speak, and he bought a theatre, an old theatre in Camberwell in Mailing Road, Canterbury. Turned that into a dance, pulled all the seats out and turned that into a dance hall. And he bought one in Preston, which became the Preston Circle. So we used to, Ivan had a main line, which was the sort of station wagon version of a custom line, bright red with the silver fins and all that stuff. And we used to jump into that on a Thursday, about 10 o'clock. We'd steam across at about 120 miles per hour. we did the trip in 5 hours, you know.
From Adelaide?
From Adelaide to Melbourne. We used to work Thursday night at Mailing Road, then Friday night, the Mariana Hall in Sunshine. Then Saturday night, Preston Circle. Sunday, drive back to Adelaide. Thursday, come back to Melbourne.
Hard slog. Hard slog.
After about 6 weeks, I said, look, I'm not coming back to Adelaide with you this week. I'm staying here. And I slept in the foyer of the ballroom at Canterbury for about a month before I found somewhere to live.
It is a hard slog, but eventually you broke through with Laurie Allen into the big time.
That's where I met Laurie, at Canterbury Ballroom. He was the lead singer with a band called the Blue Jays. And after we'd finished the gig, Laurie would say, oh, do you know any Everly Brothers songs? Because he used to love to sing harmony. Oh, yeah, and so I'd sing and he'd sing harmony. People would say, you guys sound pretty good, you know. Why don't you give it a go? But we're solo artists.
Not anymore. When we come back, I want to talk to you about your hits as Bobby and Laurie, because you had massive, massive hits. As a matter of fact, I Belong With You was on the Australian charts for...
long while. It was the first record made in Melbourne that hit the charts and went to -- in Sydney.
You guys did it.
We started the
You
trend,
cracked it
man.
for Melbourne.
Yeah.
Hey. Okay, we're gonna go to a short break, but before we do that, we're going to play a song called "Haven't Found a Lady" from Kooyeh, which is a fantastic new reggae band. As I said, been touring around Australia. So we'll take a break, take you to Kooyeh, and when we come back, we're going to talk about.
Sounds good. Let's do
You
it.
sounded good.
Oh.
Excellent.
Oh shit, did he record that? See, I came to realize that it wasn't just you who made me happy the way you did too. And I don't need to take my weed to no fancy dinners, now do I see now all I need to find is a girl that's close to, because it's better being lonely when there's two in the room. I haven't found a lady, but she loved me forevermore. Make me want to stop. I'm so glad that she opened up my door. Make me want to stop. See, now all I need to find is
Welcome back to Wrokdown. My very special guest this evening, the legendary Mr. Bobby Bright. We could go on and on and on forever because
There's been a lot of years.
There's been a lot of years, and we'll talk. That's another episode, I actually think.
Yeah.
But speaking of legends, Johnson Peeters, Marty, Rhone are here with us this evening. And along with Ray Burgess, let me get this right, Ray Burgess, Swanee, and Tommy Emmanuel.
That's right.
You have released a single that actually just went crazy over the last month. Tell me, how did this happen? How did this happen in the last month?
Wendy, it was all a dream. It was about 3:20 in the morning.
And you woke up?
And I had this, I didn't wake up. But I had this dream, and it was 5 guys on that stage. Marty, Rhone, as you said, Ray Burgess, Tommy Emmanuel, but he wasn't playing the guitar, he had a ukulele. And it was really weird. Mic'd up.
Nightmare with us involved.
It wasn't nightmare, but I was just saying it was a beautiful dream. But anyway, so I've always got the phone next to the bed or anywhere, because as soon as I get an idea or something happens, on goes, the message on the phone. Yeah. So anyway, next morning I got up and I'm listening to the message. Couldn't understand a bloody word, right? My wife at 3:20, there I am going, 'cause we're a hard-working battler. And I'm singing the song, the idea. She said, darling, are you okay? What's all the moaning? 3:20 in the morning. But I did call all the guys. I had to send an email to Tommy. By the end of that afternoon, I had a yes from all the guys.
And Tommy was in Germany, is that correct?
And Tommy was in Germany at the time, and he wrote back and said, mate, this is fantastic for Australia. What a great idea. Mate, it's all yours. And so next thing there I am, I'm sitting in the studio saying, I'm going to make this thing happen now.
You sang it down the phone to me. Can you sing the chorus? Just show me what you did down the phone.
I said, Marty, mate, I've had this dream. Because I'm singing this thing to him, and he's going, right, yeah, okay. Yeah, just send it to me, John.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, I had so much, like I was kind of really vibed up, wasn't I?
You certainly were.
And I said, look, this is going to happen. I can just hear it. I did hear it in the
So
dream.
how did you pull Swanee into it?
Oh, that was another one. I had to call him and, called him on the phone, on the mobile. He was at red light somewhere in Adelaide. And I'm going, Swanee, this is you, because we're a hard-working battler around. He goes, yeah, man. He goes, the whole of Adelaide just heard you. I've got you on loudspeaker in the car, It just came true. It happened. But to make it happen was unbelievable, because they couldn't come to us under the one roof in a studio. So what we did was we packed the recording gear and we booked a motel in Sydney.
We did the vocals in the wonders of modern technology. We did the vocals in the hotel room.
We're going to actually have a look at the clip in a minute. Did you, when you recorded this, did you have any idea that the NRL were going to pick it up?
Not at the time, no.
Was that a plan, or did you have...
Well, it was a plan. David Gingell, who's the head of Channel 9, is, I wouldn't call him a friend of mine, but he's an acquaintance. And I was so knocked out by the finished product that I said to John, this would be great as a theme for the NRL, because it really has that feel. And they put together this amazing promo with all the Biffo rugby league players, and it just works. It just works because it's a working class song and it's a working class game. And the tech people at Channel 9 put together the most amazing 30-second clip for this.
And they used it for
it became the theme, the
For
advertising
how many
theme for the
weeks
final.
before the final? For 5 weeks before the final.
Great.
So what a fantastic feat to have achieved. We are actually going to go and have a look at the clip. And of course, would you like to introduce your song?
Well, we, a film crew followed us all over the country. We each filmed in different parts of Australia, and you'll see exactly where each of us filmed the film clip. And I think the crew have done an amazing job. It's just an amazing film clip.
This is Legends of the Southern Land.
Put your best foot forward and never look back. Put your heart in the right place and get your life on track.
Every city has its own landmarks and something that identifies itself as Australian. And luckily with this song we've been able to go to some of those places and stand in front of the wonderment, I suppose, of what they are and soak it up as being part of who we are in our architectural or native parts of Australia. And so Opera House and Sydney Harbour Bridge for me were particularly good.
Set your mind in the best frame and take it in your hands. Fill your soul with the spirit of the southern land.
Legends of the Southern Land is about telling Australians, especially young Australians, that anything is possible. If you have the passion, if you have the ambition, if you have the drive to do something that you love doing and you want to do, you can achieve that. It's all up to you. And that is what this song is all about. Making legends, creating legends, and you could be one of them.
See the rock and the power in the hot red sand. Be the voice of a nation, make them understand.
Legends of the Southern Land was a dream. And I remember that morning waking up and calling my production team, Michael Audio, Clint, Director of Vision, and you know, I said, I've got this idea, can we make it happen? It's for Australia. And the guys just said, hey, just say the word and we're there. And then, of course, I had the big job of calling the people that were performing with me on stage in my dream.
But we're the hard-working battler and the common man. We're the legends of the Southern Land.
And we're here in beautiful Elizabeth, shooting for Legends of the Southern Land. I grew up here. When we were younger, we were sent here as migrants to Elizabeth City. Jim, myself, the Twilights, there's a million bands came from here. We used to play for the Optica before they knocked it down. And for me, this is Legends of the Southern Land.
Make a mark, make a difference, be the best that you can. You're the future of the Southern Land.
Here in Germany on tour, and a big hello to all the folks out there in Australia. I'm traveling the world and flying the flag and every night of my life and enjoying it.
Hard-working battler and the common man. We're the legends of the Southern Land. We're a proud population, time to make a stand. Be the legends of the Southern Land. Make a mark, make a difference, be the best that you can. For the future of the Southern Land. For the future of the Southern Land.
Congratulations, guys.
I should point out, Wendy, that we are not the legends in the song. We are just the messengers. And the Legends of the Southern Land is all about all the Australians have made this country what it is. Everyone who drives a truck across from the east to the west, the man who delivers the mail on the Birdsville track, the milkman, whatever. The people that keep the wheels turning in Australia, they're the legends of the Southern Land.
Also, the wonderful idea that even as we were watching, Tommy was in Germany, but Bobby came over from England as a kid. your family is from overseas. John, your grandparents are...
No, well, my parents, yeah, I was born in a kangaroo's pouch, but yeah, my parents are Italian.
Yeah, it just shows that Australia is a fabulous big place.
Melting pot.
Big melting pot. We are a big melting pot.
So if people want to get their copy of it, you can download it off iTunes. You can go to YouTube and watch this, and we want to make it an anthem. We think it's got the balls to become another Australian anthem.
I think so.
Do you
too.
think
What
it's
do you
got the balls to become?
The question is, has it got the balls? Bit naughty. Okay,
Oh,
now
wasn't I meant to
I
say
have to
that?
ask you guys, apart from this project that you've done together, between yourselves, you've had amazing careers. Now this is a fabulous book. Of course, it's got you on the front, the Squeezebox Kid. But I know, in actual fact, that there are some stories in here, and there's some about Marty. In the last 15, 20 years, people often come up to me and say, "Are you still singing?" Well, it's a fair enough question, because really, you know, these days, if you're not on telly or you're not on radio,
We get that.
people don't know.
Yeah,
We
we
get
We get that. as well.
Everyone
Yep.
is performing, and that's why Wrokdown's fantastic, because we let everyone our age sort of know what we're up to. So, guys, you're going to fight over who starts first, because you've both been doing an amazing job and been over in the States doing Las Vegas and... Okay, you start.
Well, I've just recently, 5 months ago, relocated to Melbourne after 40 years. I've lived, in the last 40 years, I've lived mostly in Sydney and overseas, but I just always felt Melbourne had a vibe. Having lived here in the 60s when I was a teenager, I always felt that Melbourne had a music vibe and great music theatre. And one of the reasons I moved here was actually to further my acting career, which is what I started in the 70s. And I'm pleased to say that I've just won a major role in a feature film that I'm shooting in Queensland called Rise of the Underdog in November and December. And I've toured the country for the last 5 years in playing places like the Palms at Crown and theatres, State Theatre in Sydney and theatres around the country. So still very active in the industry, but acting is taking more of an important part. Over the next 2 weekends, I film another film here in Melbourne, right in the middle of the CBD, actually.
Can we come?
You certainly can. It's on the 28th floor of one of the high-rise buildings. So if
Can
you
we
don't suffer
sit?
from vertigo, you're welcome. But you know, it's a great role. I'm an absolute so-and-so in this particular film that I'm doing. It's a shorter film, but I'm loving doing it, and I'm loving getting back. I've just done Children of Eden musical at the Melbourne Recital Centre, and Stephen Schwartz, who wrote Godspell, Pippin, Wicked, and Children of Eden, was in the audience. So that was a wonderful thrill as well.
Congratulations.
So,
Fantastic.
John.
Well, I guess you're right, Wendy. You know, people do come up and they ask, "Man, I remember you squeezing that box when you were a kid."
Johnny
you know?
Le Piccolo.
Yeah, they're saying, and
You
I
were
go,
so
"What do you mean you
cute."
remember same height, just younger?" You know. But you know, yeah, I haven't stopped. I've probably done more now than when I was wearing tight satin pants on Countdown and Sounds. Thank you. It's my mother in the audience.
No, it's not. It's Nicky Nichols and Kim.
Oh, no.
Nicky Nichols and Kimmy, your backing singers.
They were my backing
I
vocals
heard
for
some
many
good
years,
stories
and
about
let me
you.
just tell you.
You
that-
look so
oh,
innocent, you're
please.
not.
can you believe what we wore in the 70s? Can you believe that?
I
Hang on a
couldn't
minute,
believe
do you
what I
mean,
heard
can you-
about
hang
him.
on.
How about the 60s?
Wait,
That was even
What do you mean, can you believe what we wore in the 60s and the 70s? I mean, have a look at what we've got on our face.
Yeah, thanks to Chrissy and
Compliments of Miss
Yeah.
Chrissy.
Chrissy, thank you, darling, for keeping us up to date
Yeah,
with the fashion.
thank you.
So
Yeah.
this is great. It's kind of we're always looked at, you know, "Oh, yeah, I remember you. Yeah, you used to sing So Many Ways and Deep Inside Me and Wonder World. Oh, come on, do you remember it? Can you sing it?" You know, that's great. That's all beautiful. It was a great
I forgot about that.
stage.
Welcome to my wonder world. Oh, well, sorry, John.
I shouldn't have mentioned it. So, you know, I got into producing. I got into writing. I got into doing, you know, producing live shows like the sound show that we did.
Okay, we're going to just take you off track a little bit now. There's a new film clip, or a new single, I guess. It's from a band called The Basics, which is actually Wally de Backer from Kooyeh. This is called So Hard For You. Boys, it's so hard for you.
Very hard for us.
It's always hard.
We'll go to Kooyeh.
Very, very hard.
We'll be back in a minute.
Think it's so hard for you. You moan about the things you do. Well, it's gonna get a little bit harder, 'cause this train can't go no farther. Since the day you came on the scene, I've been treating you like my queen, spending my money just to make you smile. I give an inch, but you take a mile. Baby, I've been thinking that I don't wanna be a singer anymore. You ain't gonna get you what you want. I'm here to tell you that it's not okay. Not your real take a sucker just to pay your way. Never really cared for friends, little more than it means to the end. You won't be happy till they call you famous. Your attitude is entirely shameless. Now I realize my mistake. You never give, you just take. When the money, your imagination, we're all figures in your calculations. I don't wanna be a savior anymore. I ain't gonna get you what you want. I'm here to tell you that you're on your own. I'm not your lapdog woman, and I'm telling you, I don't wanna be a savior anymore. I don't wanna be a savior anymore. Think you're stronger like the rest of us. You really think that you do it tough. You should try being a 9 to 5. When the measure of your life is a paycheck, just enough to pay the rent. We're all thinking in dollars and cents. But when you get it on a silver plate, I know you can't appreciate. I don't wanna be a savior anymore. Ain't gonna take it to the top. I'm here to tell you that you're on your own. I'm not your cash cow woman, and I'm telling you, don't wanna be a savior anymore. Only gonna open every door. Better listen to me when I say you're a gold digger, honey, and it stops today. Savior anymore. Don't wanna be a savior anymore. Ain't gonna be a savior anymore. Don't wanna see you no more. Sister, I ain't your penny back in daddy. Mama, can you hear me saying I don't wanna be a savior anymore? To be a savior anymore. I'm not gonna be a savior anymore.
I love you.
Welcome back to Wrokdown. My very, very special guest this evening is the legendary Mr. Bobby Bright. And a little bit later on in the show, we are going to talk about Bobby's new, what do you call it, mini.
I think mini album is the
Mini
cool
al-
thing to
is
say
the cool
these
thing
days.
to say?
But it's an EP or it's a CD.
Let's be cool. Let's call it a mini.
A mini album, yeah.
What's happening out and about? Well, you won't know unless you talk to the gorgeous Wrokdown Soozie and Miss Chrissy.
Hello, Miss Wendy.
What's happening, girls? What's happening out there?
Well, we're sitting here figuring out how we can sit so we don't have double chins on this show. We're going like this.
No, in the last episode, I've got 5 chins.
I actually think that probably the best way for all of us is to sort of go like
Sit
that.
back and hold it up there.
But then I've got fat thighs.
Like that.
No, they're only shooting you to the waist.
You only shooting
They're
from
only
the waist?
shooting you from the breasts up.
Well, we've been out and about, and
I
we were
know
down
you have.
at the Caravan Music Club, one of our favourite places, and we caught up with Ross Hannaford, Daddy
Hannah.
Cool. Hannah.
National treasure.
Just like yourself.
Just not
Actually,
sure
the
what
guys
kind.
play together, don't they?
Yeah.
Hannah played on your...
Yeah, Hannah's on there. And we were in another band back in the 80s called Big Dump.
Big Dump. Where'd you get that name?
I believe it was thought up on the Johnny Farnham tour bus, actually.
Who thought it up? Johnny Farnham. He looks sweet, but ooh.
Yeah, so we wandered down and we had this wonderful interview with him, and Miss Chrissy stood on a ladder so that she could film
He
because
rested his beer on my head.
Yeah.
That's how tall he is.
Ross?
Yes.
But Chrissy, with those shoes on, you could have been almost up to Ross's.
Well, I didn't have these shoes on, did I?
I had to backpack her around so that she could get the camera up to film him. But we had this great interview, and he plays there, I think, every Sunday, the last Sunday in the month, with the Critters. And what a gig. We had to rush off to do something else, but I wanted to stay there, and I want to go back on a Sunday. And
Can you tell us where it is? Caravan
at the
Club?
Caravan Music Club over at Oakley, the Oakley RSL. But, geez, he's still got it. He was fabulous, wasn't he?
Did he have his little hat with the...
No, I asked about that.
No, he wears orange now.
He does.
A lot of orange.
Jailbreak orange.
I saw him busking in the city, and he was wearing his orange gear.
Yes.
And he had like a construction
That's
crew
it.
stuff around him. That was orange as well.
Yeah.
It was great. Yeah. You got to love the guy.
Oh, you got to love Hannah. Hannah's always been unique.
She lost an eyelash there too. And be careful because she will lose an eyelash and it might end up on your lap. And we've been playing Bob's new single, Child of Rock and Roll, on 88.3 Southern FM. I'm just giving that a plug. Fantastic, fantastic single. And you are a child of rock and roll. We just love it, see? Bit of a spunk. John Dallimore plays on this. I said the John Dallimore word.
John
JD played on it as well.
Yeah, Roger McLaughlin.
Yeah, Roger.
Jerry Pantazis.
Amazing drummer.
Michael Doyle. And Ross Hannaford. Back to you.
Hannah, back to Hannah. Hey, it's Soozie here, out and about for Wrokdown TV with Miss Chrissy, and we've wandered over to the Caravan Music Club, and we are so stoked because we found Ross Hannaford. Hey, Ross.
Hi.
How you going?
Oh, jolly good.
Jolly good, yeah?
Thanks for coming down.
What a pleasure. And what a great gig it's been so far.
Yes. We got through the first set, yeah.
And what a brilliant set, hey?
Oh, well, did you think so? Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm really honoured to talk to you because I had a brother who played all of your music as I was growing up and absolutely loved it. Pink Finks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Party Machine.
Yeah, right.
So tell me about, I want to know, you know the songbook that the Vice Squad grabbed and said, this is not good and it's obscene?
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Have you got a copy of it still?
No, I haven't. Remember, well, that was all Ross's lyrics, Ross Wilson's lyrics in the Party Machine. And, I mean, they took offence to, he had a song called I Don't Believe All Your Kids Should Be Virgins. That's what that's what it was all about.
So that was the
This
obscenity?
is the 60s, kids, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a bit upset about that. And he had to go in and they gave him a little talking to. They didn't charge him.
But they burnt it.
I mean, virgin, isn't that in the dictionary? I don't know. But that was them days, you know.
They really did burn the songbook? Or was that just a bit of something that made it sound good?
Someone's added to that story.
Added to it, a bit of salt and pepper, yeah.
Yeah.
So you were 15 when you kicked off playing guitar and in the band?
Well, I was 8 when I started playing guitar.
Yeah.
And in the first band, I was playing banjo in a jazz band. You know, I mean, pretty terrible. And then the Beatles started happening. We started getting into Rolling Stones, and then I was playing in the Pink Figs. Just turned 12, or we did some demos.
Yeah.
And then the Party Machine, I was about 15 or 16.
How'd you meet Ross Wilson?
we had a little rock band, and we're playing at a playing a local church dance, and it was me and two other guys. I mean, we're all young, you know, and there's this guy, you know, hanging around playing some harmonica. He's pretty good, you know, and he sat in. The next thing, next week, it's rehearsing every week, and Ross is organising us.
So Ross and Ross, that must have been a bit tricky. Did it surprise you, the success that Daddy Cool has had? You know, it was quite amazing, phenomenal success.
Yeah, it was just, you know, it was incredible. You know, he couldn't do a thing wrong for about a year and a half till Skyhooks came along, and then they were the next flavour. And then I learnt the meaning of rejection.
What? So tell me about your helicopter hat. Where'd you get that?
That was a birthday present from my girlfriend at the time. She made it. It was actually paper mache.
Paper mache?
And, you know, it was hard. It was beautifully painted. It had really gorgeous colours. And it actually had a motor in it, but that died.
So it really did have a motor?
About 2 seconds, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
And have you still got it?
No, I don't know what happened to it. I don't know what happened.
So you've been doing quite a few gigs at Caravan Music Club where we're at.
We play here the third Sunday of the month.
Yep. We're really honoured to have you on Wrokdown. Thank you so much for your time today.
Well, I'm honoured to be on Wrokdown. Thank you very much.
And we'll be out there at the second half of this gig and to enjoy ourselves, let our hair down now that we've got this interview in the can.
Well, you got so dressed up beautifully.
Thanks.
You might as well flash it on the floor.
We might as well do something, eh?
Why not?
Alrighty. Thank you so much, Ross. Most appreciated.
Thanks so much.
Over and out for Wrokdown TV. Thank you.
Cheers.
What do you say to Hannah?
Isn't he gorgeous?
Oh,
he's absolutely the most gorgeous person for someone who's actually been through the mill, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you know Hannah really well. I've known him for a long time. He is so unaffected by the whole thing, and he's done so much for the Australian music industry. Big hand for Ross Hannaford.
Yeah.
We love you, Ross.
Love him.
I love Ross. I think everybody loves Ross.
Yeah.
And he's played all over.
Yeah, Hannah came in, the song's got 4 chords, and Hannah said, I only need 2 of them in. Yeah, it works.
We're going to take a short break, be back with the gorgeous Bobby Bright. Would you thank our girls, the gorgeous Wrokdown Soozie and Miss Chrissy? Thank you. Welcome back to Wrokdown. Our very special guest this evening is Mr. Bobby Bright. And, our legend. You know, we were talking earlier about your career with Bobby and Laurie. I think we could actually do 3 episodes on your career, but we have to get on to what you're up to now, because as we said before, people come up and say to you, oh, are you still playing? Are you still working? Of course. You haven't stopped working.
No.
You haven't stopped working.
In one fashion or another, no, I haven't.
When Bobby and Laurie finished, I know for a fact, we were talking about this earlier, and I've got to be fast because we want to talk about your CD. You actually became one of the biggest stars of the Australian voiceover industry in Australia, and I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah,
absolutely a star of the voiceovers. DJ.
Yeah, 3XY.
3XY. 3XY.
I'm being eyelashed here.
Miss Chrissy, what are you doing, darling? When you've got it, and you've got it, Bobby.
Yeah, well, hey, what can I say?
You've got it. Let's talk about this
EP.
This EP.
songs I wrote, brilliantly produced by Michael Oliphant, who's a brilliant keyboard player and producer. John Dallimore, Roger McLaughlin, Michael Doyle, Jerry Pantazis, great Ross Hannaford's playing on it. We launched it a couple of nights ago at the Mimo. That went well. And yeah.
It's on sale now and you're doing gigs all around Melbourne?
Not so much all around Melbourne at the moment. What we're doing, I've had a couple of meetings with Frank Howson, and we're writing a show that we plan to put on about February at Chapel on Chapel, which is sort of hard to explain really, but basically my life story through music. So it'll start, you know, from the Johnny O'Keefe era through to now.
Do you have a title at the moment, or?
No, it's just the show at the moment.
The show?
Yes, yes.
It'll be a great show. So that's at Chapel off Chapel?
Yeah, February.
Next year, the album's out. And as you said, the launch was a couple of nights ago, which was fantastic. We can get this online.
You can get it on iTunes as well, yeah. And Google Music or something. Michael's taking care of all that.
I know.
Yeah, yeah.
But you are and have been playing all over Melbourne.
Oh, bits and pieces here. You know, you never stop. It's just you're not in the mainstream anymore. You know, I do a few gigs around Williamstown. We're actually planning on, before we come back in February, we're planning working the show out in places like Warrnambool and Geelong, take it out sort of off Broadway, so to speak.
Off Broadway.
Yes, off Broadway.
To get it right.
Yeah, yeah.
To get it right. It's wonderful to have had you on the show. I have to. Let me give you this as a token of my esteem.
Tastes horrible.
Oh, hang on, I put something on it. It should taste really good.
Oh, really? Hey, folks, I just... Oh, wow. All these lights,
Just
man.
wait a while. Just give it 30 minutes.
Oh, stuff 30 minutes. It's happening now, baby.
Bobby, thank you for being on the show. To all of the fantastic audience.
Lovely to see you.
Thank you. To our wonderful crew, and especially all the people here at Musicland.
Yeah.
We want to thank you so much. We're back next week. Tonight we're going to take you out with Bobby's clip. And apart from the fact that I love the song that you wrote about your mum, which was called...
It's called Great Life, Elsie's
Great
song.
Life,
Yeah.
Elsie's song, which is on the CD. We're going to take you out with the clip of Younger Days.
Admitting I'm older, yeah.
Don't admit it. Just lick that again and see what happens. Good night, everybody. Thank you from Wrokdown. Bobby Bright.
Thank you.
Here we go.
I'm getting older and paying for my younger days. Got a long list of things I have to reappraise. There's things I don't see, things I don't hear, and simple things confuse me when they ought to be clear. It ain't appealing, this feeling, paying for my younger days. Well, I'm paying through the nose for the good times I had in my youth. Didn't know what I was doing when I did it. Ain't that the truth? Now there's aches and there's pains, things I can't explain, like when my legs aching and those gonna rain. It ain't appealing, this feeling, paying for my younger days. Yes, I'm paying, yeah, paying for my younger days.
paying. I'm paying for my younger days. Hey. I'll get it by burning the candle both ends. But in my youth I was bulletproof, immune to the frailties of men. The way I see it, I bought my ticket, got a ticket ride and all the shit come with it. It ain't appealing, this feeling. For my younger days, hey, I'm paying, yeah, I'm paying for my younger days, paying, yeah, I'm paying for my younger days. Oh.